The door swung open before Jake could knock. There she stood, Eliza Montgomery, the untouchable CEO of Montgomery Industries, vulnerable, with tears streaming down her face and her blouse half unbuttoned, revealing a large surgical scar across her chest. Their eyes locked in the mirror. In that moment, everything changed. "Please," she whispered, her voice breaking, "don't tell anyone what you saw." Little did Jake Collins know that this accidental encounter would transform his simple life as a single father into something far more complicated, a love story that would sentence him to a lifetime of both joy and heartache. If you're touched by this story of unexpected love and sacrifice, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more emotional journeys that remind us how life's most beautiful moments often begin with chance encounters. Jake Collins adjusted his maintenance uniform and checked his watch. 7:30 p.m. The executive floor should have been empty by now. He'd been called to fix a faulty thermostat in the CEO's private bathroom, a simple job that would take 10 minutes, tops. Then he could pick up his daughter from the after-school program before they charged him another late fee he couldn't afford. Single parenthood wasn't what he'd planned when Emma was born 6 years ago. But after his wife Lisa's car accident 3 years back, plans didn't matter anymore. Survival did. And that meant taking whatever overtime Montgomery Industries offered, even if it meant working late on a Friday. He knocked softly on the bathroom door. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time. Still nothing. The work order had been marked urgent, something about an important board meeting tomorrow morning. Taking a deep breath, Jake used his master key and pushed the door open. "Maintenance, I'm here to fix the words died in his throat. Eliza Montgomery stood before the mirror, her back to him. Her tailored blazer lay discarded on a chair. She was in the process of changing her blouse, the fabric pulled away to reveal an angry red surgical scar that ran across her chest and disappeared beneath a delicate camisole. Before he could back away, she turned, their eyes meeting in the mirror. For a moment, neither moved. Jake had seen Eliza Montgomery plenty of times, on company newsletters, at annual meetings, striding through the lobby with an entourage of executives trailing behind her. The Ice Queen, they called her. Brilliant, ruthless, untouchable, but the woman before him now bore little resemblance to that polished corporate image. Her face was bare of makeup, revealing dark circles under reddened eyes. Her short dark hair was disheveled, not sleek. And most shocking of all, she looked afraid. "I'm so sorry, Ms. Montgomery," Jake stammered, backing toward the door. The work order said. "Wait." Her voice was barely audible, nothing like the commanding tone he'd heard during company addresses. "Close the door." Jake hesitated, then stepped inside and shut the door behind him. "You're the maintenance supervisor." "Collins, right?" she asked, quickly pulling her blouse closed with trembling hands. "Yes, ma'am." "Jake Collins. How much did you see?" Jake swallowed hard. "Enough to know you might need help, not a thermostat repair." A bitter smile crossed her face. "The thermostat is broken." "I didn't lie about that." She buttoned her blouse with unsteady fingers. "I just needed a private place to change before my appointment. The hospital is across the street." "Hospital?" The word slipped out before Jake could stop himself. Eliza's eyes hardened. "This conversation isn't happening, Mr. Collins. You saw nothing. Do you understand?" "Yes, ma'am." She gathered her things, wincing as she reached for her blazer. Without thinking, Jake stepped forward and held it for her. She stiffened but allowed him to help slide it over her shoulders. "Thank you," she said, her professional mask slipping back into place. But as she moved past him toward the door, she swayed slightly. Jake caught her elbow to steady her. "Ms. Montgomery, are you sure you should be alone right now?" Something in her expression cracked. For just a second, the powerful CEO disappeared, replaced by a woman who looked exhausted and overwhelmed. "Please," she whispered, her voice breaking, "don't tell anyone what you saw. The board doesn't know. Nobody knows." If word gets out that I have cancer, they'll force me to step down." The word hung in the air between them. Cancer. Jake felt a pang of recognition in that desperate plea. He'd worn that same expression when begging his boss not to cut his hours after Lisa died, when he needed the job more than ever. "I won't say anything," he promised. "But at least let me walk you across to the hospital." She studied his face, searching for deceit or opportunity. Finding none, she nodded. 1.5 minutes, she said. "Then we go back to being CEO and maintenance supervisor." This never happened. Jake had no idea that those 5 minutes would change everything. The next morning, Jake was elbow deep in a clogged drain when his supervisor called him to the office. "The big boss wants to see you," Mike said, looking concerned. "Whatever you did, Collins, I hope it was worth it." Jake's stomach dropped. Had he broken some protocol by helping Ms. Montgomery? Would she fire him to ensure his silence? The executive floor was a different world from the basement maintenance department. Plush carpeting, original artwork, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Jake felt painfully out of place in his work uniform as the executive assistant led him to Eliza Montgomery's office. She sat behind an imposing desk, looking every inch the powerful CEO in a charcoal suit, her short dark hair perfectly styled. If not for the slight pallor beneath her makeup, no one would guess she was battling cancer. "Mr. Collins. Please sit." Jake perched awkwardly on the edge of an expensive leather chair. "Ms. Montgomery, if this is about last night." "It is." She folded her hands on the desk. "I've been reviewing your personnel file." Of course she had. Jake braced himself for termination. Single father. Widowed 3 years ago. Excellent work record. You've turned down 2 promotions that would have required relocation. Her eyes met his. "Because of your daughter, I assume?" Jake nodded, confused by the direction of the conversation. "Emma's been through enough change." Something softened in Eliza's expression. "I have a proposition for you, Mr. Collins. I need someone I can trust. Someone discreet who can drive me to treatments twice a week and assist with certain matters when the side effects are challenging." "You want me to be your driver?" "I want you to be my assistant, of sorts. Confidential. Off the books. You would maintain your current position officially, but I would arrange for your schedule to accommodate these additional duties." She named a monthly figure that made Jake's eyes widen. "The money would be paid from my personal accounts, not company funds." "Why me?" Jake asked, genuinely baffled. "You have an entire executive staff." "Precisely. People with ambition. People who would see my illness as an opportunity." She leaned forward slightly. "You have no interest in corporate politics, Mr. Collins. You need money and stability for your daughter. I need discretion and assistance without pity. It's a simple transaction." But it wasn't simple. Nothing about Eliza Montgomery was simple, as Jake would soon discover. Over the next few months, Jake became Eliza's shadow. He drove her to chemotherapy appointments, waited during the hours-long treatments, and helped her home afterward when the nausea and fatigue overwhelmed her. At the office, they maintained their professional distance, she the untouchable CEO, he the maintenance supervisor. But in the privacy of her car or her penthouse apartment, the walls between them gradually crumbled. Jake learned that Eliza had discovered the lump 6 months ago but had delayed treatment, afraid of showing any weakness that might jeopardize her position. The company was in the middle of a critical merger, and she couldn't risk the board seeing her as vulnerable. "They've been waiting for years for me to slip," she told him one evening as they sat in her living room, she wrapped in a blanket despite the warmth of the room. "Richard Harmon has wanted my job since my father passed it to me instead of him." "So you hid your diagnosis," Jake said. "Even though delaying treatment was dangerous." "I made a calculated risk." Her voice was clinical, but Jake could see the fear behind her eyes. "The company needed me at full strength. Now the merger is complete, and I can focus